Howdy folks. So what we're gonna do today is truck some feed, drop the feed trailer off for safety, and then do water pump change on the skid steer here. Alright, so that was truck and feed. It usually takes around an hour and 15 minutes or so to do a load. There's about 30 ton in a load, and takes a ton a minute to dump, and the trailer needed a safety, so drop that off, and gonna finish walking my barns and then go for breakfast, and then push some snow, and then start working on skid steer. So let's go. So what we got going on this afternoon is got a new water pump here from Gale. So the fan housing is a little bit loose there, as you can see. So the dealer told me could last 2 hours, could last 1,000 hours, but if it goes, it'll put the blades into the rad, and then it got expensive. So gotta pull the skid plates out underneath. I strongly despise skid steers just because they're really crappy to work on, but pull the skid plates out, drain the coolant, we'll plug up the oil cooler lines, and then I think I can just pull the rad right out, and then we'll blow everything down. And we're also going to do an oil change on the 6M. That tractor's going on my brother's mixer, and then yeah, get all that serviced up, lift up the cab, and just give it a good cleaning. Alright, so got the fan housing off. Had to take the counterweight off, or what's left of it. Clearly serves a purpose. Got the lines off. Quick tip, you can buy these boxes of plugs. I just got them off Amazon. I think they're like $5, but they're actually really nice for plugging hydraulic lines. You just shove them in there and they can keep pressure back and keep dirt from getting in. Come in all different sizes. So yeah, so we'll take the fan blade off, and then I think everything's pretty accessible. There's no point in taking all this off. We'll plug everything up when we go to blow it. So okay, so got everything off, got the belt off. There's a bit of an oil leak here. I wonder what's going on with that. Looks like this fitting might be bad. But we'll plug up these hoses and then go with the air gun so I can take the housing off, and then we'll put the new one. I don't know what's all coming off, but I'm guessing this is where the play was. You can feel it a little bit there. Pretty simple, I think. Of course, it's making a mess. I hope there's a gasket in the box. $900. No gasket. This sucks. Now I regret not checking it, but should have known. All right, so good news. Dealer's got a gasket, so Eric's gonna pick one of those up for me, and then I'll get all this prepped and ready, and then take off the skid plates underneath, and then probably start dropping the oil. Alrighty, got that all cleaned off. Spray some brake cleaner and wipe it down, and then wait for that gasket. I'm guessing the reason that gasket was on there so tight. That was just Eric. He said the dealer didn't have it, so now I gotta go to the one that's a little further away. So yeah, I'll get this cleaned up, get the new gasket, and then we'll get this partly wrapped up. Hopefully a little bit of brake cleaner in there isn't gonna hurt anything. That was way too much work to take a gasket off. Probably could have kept the old one. Finally have a use for the straw. Alrighty, parts run. Got the new gasket. What goes where? I'm guessing this goes like this way because it was so hard to peel off. So, like that. Or, oh, I guess it can only go one way, that's fine. Stronger than that. Okay, now I want to turn it up to a million ugga-uggas. I have no idea what the torque specs are, but not too tight, I guess. Feels right, I think. But I'm gonna leave that off till I get everything cleaned out. As you can see, when I work, it's always a bit of a mess. A lot of people can attest to that. I would say I'm a neat guy, but not when I am working. Talk about a fire hazard. Alright, so that was about half an hour blowing down. Made a mess. Got it decent enough, I think. Good enough that there's no fire hazards anymore, I don't think. But that's easier. Anyways, put this radiator hose back on, and I tightened up this clamp. That's why it was a little too loose for my liking. So I'm guessing that's why it's low in hydraulic oil. Well, I guess the boom's up too though. Okay, fan house. Shoot. forgot to put the belt on. Alrighty, so got the bottom on there. That was the worst part, and we'll put the top coolant hose in. This is the return. This goes back into the engine, sends coolant back into the engine. And then we'll take our nice plugs out. Alrighty, that was a lot more work than I thought, but got everything back on, filter back on, hoses back on, counterweight back on, what's left of it anyways, it's been busted, but we'll throw the door back on, put the wiring harness on, dump some new coolant in. Maybe it will run better now. I don't know. Alrighty, so finished up this job. Took a little over 3.5 hours with the parts run, so a lot quicker than I actually thought it was going to take. But so this is what we replaced. It's the water pump is what they call it. So I'm guessing the bearing's a little bit shot in here. That's where that plate came from. But what this does is off the engine drive, that belt drives the alternator, but then it also drives that fan, which is mounted to this pump. And this pump pressurizes the coolant system to send coolant through the engine, which cools it down, sends it back out to this radiator, and the fan blows the air through to cool the coolant and send it back in to keep your engine temperature down. So yeah, wasn't too bad. This was $900 and 3.5 hours of labor, so not the most fun. As you can see, got a little bit of cleanup. That's usually how I work, but yeah, so we'll give this thing grease. Make sure I forgot to blow out the air filter. Do that, check the tire pressures, and then it can go back to the other farm.